This is an audio-only horror story. I want you to close your eyes in. 3, 2, 1, 0. Use your imagination as you listen, and use your imagination to invoke a scene. Enjoy the ride.
Halloween had always been my favorite time of year. The crisp air, the crackle of leaves underfoot, and the thrill of dressing up as something terrifying. This year, I planned to go all out. My friends Mia and Lucas were joining me for a night of trick-or-treating in our old neighborhood. But as October 31st approached, an unusual invitation slipped under my door. It was a simple card, decorated with a sinister black cat and dripping orange letters that read, "You are invited to the Holloway Estate for a night of endless treats. Come if you dare." The Holloway Estate had been abandoned for as long as I could remember. Rumors swirled about its dark history. Children had gone missing, shadows moved on their own, and once a year, the house would glow with an eerie light on Halloween night. "Are you really going to go?" Mia asked when I showed them the card. Lucas just shrugged, clearly uninterested. "Of course I am. It's a chance to see what's inside," I said, excitement bubbling within me. But deep down, a chill ran down my spine at the thought of stepping foot in that house. The evening arrived, and we met outside the Holloway Estate. The house loomed before us, a towering silhouette against the moonlit sky. Chipped paint and cracked windows made it look like a monster ready to swallow us whole. The air felt thick, electric, and for a moment, I hesitated. "Come on, it'll be fun," Mia encouraged, tugging at my sleeve. Lucas, his face barely illuminated by his skull mask, rolled his eyes but followed behind us. The front door creaked open as if inviting us in. Inside, the air was stale, heavy with dust and the scent of decay. Cobwebs hung like curtains from the ceiling, and the floorboards groaned under our weight. "Look at this place," Mia whispered, awe and fear mixing in her voice. "It's like a haunted house." "More like a death trap," Lucas muttered, peering into a dark corner. We ventured further inside, the flickering light from our phones casting eerie shadows on the walls. Suddenly, we heard laughter, childlike, distant, echoing through the halls. "Did you hear that?" I asked, my heart racing. "Probably just the wind," Lucas replied, but he didn't sound convinced. As we moved deeper into the house, we stumbled upon a room filled with old toys and a large, dusty table. At the center of the table was a single bowl, overflowing with candy. My eyes widened. "Do you think it's safe?" Mia asked, glancing around nervously. "Only one way to find out," I said, reaching for a piece of chocolate. As soon as I touched it, the laughter erupted again, this time closer. Before I could pull my hand back, the candy glowed briefly, and I felt a strange surge of energy wash over me. The laughter turned into a cacophony, a blend of giggles and cries. I dropped the candy, backing away in fright. "Did you feel that?" I asked, my voice shaky. "Yeah, and I don't like it," Lucas said, eyeing the door. "Let's just grab some candy and get out of here," Mia suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. As we collected a few candies, the atmosphere shifted. The walls seemed to close in, and the air grew colder. I looked at Mia and Lucas, their expressions mirroring my unease. "Maybe we should leave," I said, but before I could finish, the door slammed shut behind us, trapping us inside. Panic set in. "What the hell?" Lucas shouted, banging on the door. "Let us out!" The laughter intensified, surrounding us like a sinister embrace. Shadows darted across the walls, morphing into twisted shapes. I felt something cold brush against my arm and spun around, but there was nothing there, just darkness. "Guys, we need to stick together," Mia urged, her voice trembling. We huddled together, our breaths coming in short gasps as the laughter morphed into whispers. I could almost make out words, "Trick or treat, join us." We bolted for the nearest window, but it was barred. The walls pulsed, almost alive, as if the house itself wanted to keep us inside. I could feel something watching us, lurking just out of sight. "Look," Mia pointed to a doorway at the end of the hall. "We should try that." We rushed toward it, our footsteps echoing in the silence. The door swung open to reveal a dimly lit room filled with mirrors. As we stepped inside, our reflections morphed, showing us not as we were, but as something grotesque, twisted versions of ourselves, grinning widely. "What is happening?" I gasped, horrified. Then the whispers grew louder, filling the air with a chilling melody. "One more treat, one more soul." "Souls," Lucas said, his face pale. "What do they want from us?" In that moment, I realized the truth. The candy was a trap. We were being lured in, and the house wanted us to stay forever. "We have to get out," I shouted. But before we could move, the mirrors shattered, sending shards flying like knives. I felt a sharp pain in my arm as a piece struck me, and I cried out. "Run!" Mia yelled, grabbing my hand. We stumbled out of the room, adrenaline pumping through our veins. The laughter morphed into screams, the shadows swirling around us, pulling us back. "We have to find another way out," Lucas shouted. But the house felt like a labyrinth, each turn leading us deeper into its grip. We sprinted through the hallways, but every door was locked, every window sealed. The whispers followed us, echoing in our ears. "Join us! Join us!" Finally, we reached a grand staircase spiraling upward. "Up! We have to go up!" I urged, leading the way. As we ascended, the whispers faded, replaced by a heavy silence. At the top, we found a single door. We pushed it open, and light flooded the room, a stark contrast to the darkness that enveloped us below. In the center of the room stood an altar, covered in candy, and on it, a small chest. I approached it cautiously, my heart racing. "This must be the way out," I said, but a voice echoed from the shadows. "Only one may leave with the treats," it boomed. I turned to see a figure, shrouded in darkness, its eyes glowing. "Choose wisely, a sacrifice must be made." "What?" Mia gasped, fear etched on her face. "Take the candy or take a life," it intoned. "The price of escape." I looked at Mia and Lucas, panic rising in my chest. "I can't. I won't," I stammered, backing away from the altar. "Just take it," Lucas urged. "It's the only way." "No," I shouted, tears welling in my eyes. "I won't let it take any of us." In that moment of defiance, the room shook. The figure lurched forward, and I felt a surge of energy rush through me. I grasped a handful of candy, holding it tightly. "I choose to escape," I shouted, and with a blinding flash, everything went dark. I awoke in my room, drenched in sweat, the morning light streaming through the window. My heart pounded as I sat up, disoriented. It was all a dream, right? Then I looked down at my hand. Clutched tightly was a single piece of candy, the same one I'd tried to take from the altar. A chill ran down my spine as I remembered the laughter and the whispers. I glanced at my phone. It was still Halloween night. I rushed to the window, looking out toward the Holloway estate, now just a silhouette against the fading light. "Guys, we need to get out of here," I muttered, a sinking feeling in my gut. I grabbed my jacket, the candy still heavy in my pocket. As I stepped outside, the laughter echoed in my mind, mingling with the rustle of leaves and the distant sound of children trick-or-treating. Somewhere, deep within the Holloway estate, I knew the darkness awaited its next victim, and I couldn't shake the feeling that this Halloween was far from over. The following Halloween, the invitation came again, slipped under my door like a sinister promise. The same black cat, the same dripping letters. "You are invited to the Holloway estate for a night of endless treats. Come if you dare." I held the card, my heart racing. I had escaped once, but the darkness had left its mark on me. I could hear the laughter growing louder, and this time, I wasn't sure I could resist. "Maybe next year," I whispered, but even as I said it, I felt the pull, the allure of the Holloway estate calling me back. And I knew, deep down, that it would always be waiting.
As the final echoes of the tale fade into the darkness, remember this: in the shadows where fear takes root, the true horror lies not in the creatures that lurk, but in the darkness within ourselves. We tell these stories not just to scare or entertain, but to confront the fears that we try so hard to ignore. So as you step back into the light of the real world, carry with you the lessons of the night. The monsters we create are reflections of our deepest anxieties, and the strength to overcome them is within each of us. Sleep well, and remember, in the realm of fear, we are the true masters of our fate. Good night, and may your dreams be free of shadows. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the notification bell for you to see my future update on this channel. Stay safe and always remember to lock your doors.